everybody? Thanks for watching. Now, this is the kind of information I've been wanting to get into for a while now. And I want to talk about human energy. I want to talk about the dream world and consciousness and how meditation relates to all these things. And what is the real purpose of meditation? Now, when you start talking about body energy and meditation and stuff like that, a lot of people can look at it as being, spooky or weird or even evil. And some people usually take body energy and relate it to the soul and take it back to religion. Now, I want to explain to you about body energy, about these things on a basic level, and try to make it very easy for everybody to understand what is going on. Now, some people can pick these things up consciously, and some people have no clue, what's going on, and they do these things every single day. So now understand, body energy, human energy, is not spooky, it's not scary. It is a normal thing that has been proven to exist by science and by medicine. We actually have a biomagnetic field projecting from our heart and from our brain. Cell activity, tissue activity generates an electrical field that can be detected on the surface of the skin. Now, the laws of physics tells us that an electrical current will produce a magnetic field. So that's why we get this field around our heart and around our brain. Now, we experiment with this energy all the time. When a TV is messing up and you grab the antenna, it fixes. We take balloons and we rub it on our hair and poof, you got crazy hair all over the place. You get the balloon to stick to your hair. If you put it on the wall, it sticks to the wall. How does this work? So now understand, every single thing in the universe is made up of atoms. We're talking electrons, protons, and neutrons. You need to know that different materials have different amounts of attraction for electrons. So if you take two different materials and you rub them against each other, one will steal electrons from the other. So when you take a balloon and you rub it up against your hair, it will steal the electrons from your hair, causing your hair to become positively charged. The balloon will be negatively charged, and we know opposites attract in physics. So when you rub it up against your hair, it causes your hair to, stick to it and follow it. And since your hair is positively charged now, they won't stick together no more. They'll be kind of separated for a while. And when you rub that balloon up against the wall, the electrons in the wall will basically move to a different position behind the atom, causing that area on the surface to become positively charged, and you can stick the balloon to it, for a while now. Now, it'll stick there for hours if there's no moisture. So this really works in a dry atmosphere, a dry room, because if it's any moisture, the moisture in the air will steal the charge from the balloon. So there's proof positive that we are more than just material beings. We are more than just physical beings. We are, in fact, energetic beings made up of billions and billions of atoms. Now, the thing is, this pen is also made up of atoms. So how is it that we can walk and talk and function and this pen cannot? And that is because of consciousness. We are aware of ourselves. This pen is not aware that it exists. It's not aware of itself. So we are aware, we are conscious. But the thing is, are we conscious of our consciousness? Are we conscious of the fact that we are conscious? And what I mean by that is when we examine the subconscious and the conscious, the subconscious and the conscious is totally separate. The subconscious basically takes in all the information, it decodes things, and it sometimes passes that information to the consciousness. So the thing is, you can pick up and learn songs. Your subconscious can learn a song without your conscious even knowing it. So you don't physically sit down and try to write out the words to a song, but next thing you know the words to a song, and you singing a song, and you didn't actually go and set out to try to learn it. It's because your subconscious picked up on the words, picked up on the song. Now, this is why we mess up a lot of words to songs as well, because we didn't consciously learn the song. We didn't consciously write down the words. And our subconscious told our conscious what we think or what it thinks the word is. So when we actually go and do the research, it's like, oh, that's what that word was. That's what he said. Because we went and did the actual conscious research, if you understand what I'm saying. So when you go to sleep, your subconscious takes over. Your subconscious projects the dream world. You are not conscious of the dream world. You can remember and recall the dream, but you are not conscious within the dream. You don't understand that at that exact moment that you are dreaming, really in reality, in consciousness, you are in the bed sleep. You in the bed, under the cover, wrapped up, balled up, whatever, knocked out. You have no clue that you are dreaming when you are in the dream world, because your subconscious has taken over, and your consciousness and your subconscious is not one yet. That's what meditation is going to come and fix. You are not aware of self yet. This is what this whole thing is about. You have to become controlling of the dream world. You have to control that world. When you control that world, you are a powerful being. That's what you will become. And it is very hard to get to this point. And I'm going to get into this. That's why I'm getting into this thing on a small level, so you can understand, so you can build up to this point, because it's going to take you decades to do what I'm talking about. So the whole thing is, if you actually try to write out and draw what downtown looks like, if you try to draw to an exact detail specification of what your living room looks like, what downtown looks like, what your high school looks like, you won't be able to do it. Yet when you go to sleep and you enter that dream world, you are in a real world. Your subconscious has projected downtown almost to an exact specification where it seems real. It seems like you are really downtown, or it seems like you're really in that barbershop, or you really are at school. But if you try to do it consciously, you can't. So when we're talking about spirits and when we're talking about souls, we are talking about consciousness. So when you think about consciousness, think about it as like a symbiote attached to the body. And once attached to the body, it becomes like a battery to keep the body charged, because it needs the body to stay here in this physical and material world. So once the body gets, hurt or old or tired, the subconscious will put your body in the dream state, in the dream world, so it can heal it. So when people get like badly damaged, when their body get messed up real bad, they go into a coma first, because the subconscious is desperately trying to heal the body. And when it can't, it will just leave. Now, the reason why the subconscious has to put you to sleep is because consciously, you don't know how to heal yourself. Consciously, you don't know how to restore your energy. When people get tired, they get a cup of coffee. Some people take some kind of pills or do something to give themselves more energy, because naturally they don't know how to recharge. They don't know how to get more energy. So the subconscious has to put you to sleep so it can take over, so it can perform the task of healing you and giving you more energy. So when you wake up, you just, almost like a new person. So the implications are, if we had full control of our subconscious, if our conscious and our subconscious was basically one, and we knew what our subconscious knew, we knew how to tap into that energy to heal ourselves and to give ourselves more energy. If we consciously knew how to do this, then we could basically heal our body and get more energy without having to go to sleep. Now we need to understand how amazing this is when a body heals itself, when a scar repairs itself. If you take a knife and you slice the couch, it's not going to magically sew itself back together. If you rip a piece of paper, it's not going to fix itself. Now, science and medicine tell us that, when we get a scar, that the cells in our body will basically regenerate that area and repair it. But what's taking place is you have action occurring without you physically doing anything. So when we have a rip or tear in our jeans, we physically sew it back together. But when you get a scar on your arm, you don't physically do anything. It happens. The cells regenerate the necrotic area or the damaged area, and it repairs the skin without anybody touching or moving anything. This happens consciously. Your subconscious heals this whole wound. So, if a plate fly across the room, or if a chair start flying, we would call it magic, or we would say it's some kind of demons or something like that. But since this happens on a microscopic level, we don't realize what's taking place. We don't realize what's going on. But there are things actually moving. There are things actually repairing and replacing other things. There's physical movement taking place without us physically doing anything. Now, if I was to get a knife and slice the arm of a dead man, nothing would happen. That scar would not heal itself. So this is just more proof positive that we are more than just a material physical being. And this is not something that happens normally within our skin. This is proof positive that we have a energetic being within us that is making these things happen. We have a consciousness or a subconscious that is repairing our body and repairing our skin, repairing our organs. So now when you think about this thing in terms of, just energy or energy fields. You got to look at viruses and look at diseases the same exact way. They also carry like an energy with them. So it's like once you catch a disease or a virus, it doesn't really attack you right away. You know, you be around somebody with a cold, the next day you got a cold, but it's not right away. You might eat some food, then, you know, a few hours later, you might start feeling sick. It's because the energy of that virus, the energy of that disease, it takes time to get through the energy field of your body. Now, in the 1920s and 30s, a man named Harold Saxon Burr, he was basically a researcher at Yale University of Medicine. Now, he was talking about detecting diseases within the energy field of the body before it attacks the physical body. His research is basically saying that a virus is a small microscopic living organism. So it's small, it's living, but it emits a magnetic field. It has a energy. So when it's trying to attack us, it has to go through our body's energy field where it should be detected. It can be detected. So now a few years later, they came up with a device called the superconducting quantum interference device, or SQUID for short. It's a SQUID magnetometer, which basically can measure small amounts of magnetic energy or magnetic fields. It can pick up on the tiniest energy signatures. So what happens is this virus attacks your energy. It attacks you while you are conscious, while you are awake and walking around in class or at the park or something like that. You are not aware that it's attacking you, but next thing you know, you're sick, you start coughing, or you wake up sick. Now, if you have full control of your subconscious and of your energy, then you would detect this virus when it's attacking your energy, and then you can get rid of it before it affects your body. This is the implications that Harold was talking about. This is what Saxon Burr was trying to mention in his report and in his experiments. He was trying to show that there's an energy that attacks our energy before it affects the body. And since we are not conscious enough to recognize this energy, our subconscious is not in control of our body or of that energy on a conscious level. So we can't really do anything until it starts to affect us, till it's, till it takes shape, till it's too late. Then our subconscious could, start to heal itself when we go to sleep, or we could take medicine or whatever to help us, fight that disease. So I said all that and gave you all of that information so you can understand that when we speak about energy, when we speak about consciousness, it's not something that is spooky. It is not something that is evil. It is something that is real, something that is normal and has been backed up by science. And it's proven. You prove it every day when you heal yourself. You prove it every day when you go to sleep. So now this is going to bring me into the whole dream world. So we need to really understand what's taking place when we go to sleep and how amazing it is. We just really take for granted how powerful, how amazing dreams are. We have a dream, go to sleep, we dream about fighting Godzilla or fighting Freddy Krueger or turning into, Incredible Hulk and knocking down buildings and flying through the air and all kinds of stuff like that. And then we just wake up and we go about our lives and forget about that amazing dream just happened. And to me, it's just like, it's one of the most amazing things that occurs, in our life. It's when we go to sleep. So when you go to sleep and enter the dream world, as I said, it is your subconscious that takes over. And it's your subconscious basically giving you an analysis. It's giving you a report of everything that you're taking in, everything that your subconscious has been learning. So you have to realize that your subconscious will absorb things that mean a lot to you. Like if you have a lot of hope for something, if you have fear of something, especially fear, that's a big one. If you have a fear of something, your subconscious will take that in and it will hold it because you did not deal with it on a conscious level. So if you are afraid of your girlfriend leaving, if you're afraid that if you don't pay these bills, then you get kicked out on the street, because you did not take care of it on a conscious level, your subconscious will hold on to it and project it out to you in the dream world so you can deal with it. because it needs to get rid of it. So you'll start to dream about, losing your house, or, getting in a fight with your girlfriend, or breaking up. Now, when we take care of these things on a conscious level, if we get the money to pay our rent so we don't get kicked out on the street, if we talk to our boyfriend or girlfriend and straighten things out so we don't break up, then we take care of these things so the subconscious doesn't have to suppress it and then project it out in the dream world for us to deal with. This is why we have these, scary dreams and dreams of things that we fear, because subconsciously we hold it in and we don't deal with it on a conscious level. It's the same thing when you watch a scary movie. You don't realize sometimes how much you are scared of the movie, or scared of something that happened in the movie happening to you. So you suppress it subconsciously, and then next thing you know, you go to sleep and you're dreaming about Freddy Krueger. He's chasing you down the street. So if you don't come to the realization on a conscious level that this movie is not real, it's not something that can actually happen to you. Freddy Krueger is not real. He's just an actor. If you don't come to the realization, if you don't come to terms with the fact that, hey, I might get kicked out of my place if I don't get this money. I might break up with my girlfriend. This might happen to me. If you don't deal with it and say, you know what, I'm going to do everything I can to deal with this. I'm going to combat this the best way I can. I'm going to go here. I'm going to work here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk to her. I'm going to go buy her flowers. I'm going to do that. If you don't deal with this stuff consciously, your subconscious will suppress it. You have to understand, anything that you love to do or enjoy to do, it will take in. Anything that you fear, envy, that you are jealous of, that you are scared of, your subconscious will take mental note of that, because you need to deal with it. It will suppress it and project it out to you in the dream world so you can deal with it. Your subconscious is constantly trying to make you aware of it. The problem is, once you enter the dream world, it's so real that you act accordingly. Now, if you understood on a conscious level that Freddy Krueger is not real, It the Clown is not real, you cannot fly, soon as you enter the dream world and these things start to happen, you will look around and say, hey, wait a minute, this ain't real. Or you say, wait a minute, you died 2 years ago. What are you doing here? You will immediately become aware. You will become conscious, and these things would not work. You will realize what your subconscious was trying to do, and you could deal with it, and it would just go away. There was a movie that came out last year called Divergent. Now, Divergent was these people, they were soldiers. And the whole difference between them and the other soldiers were, when they put them in this dream state, they would realize that they were dreaming. So they would induce these nightmares, and they would realize that, hey, wait a minute, this ain't real. And they would wake up immediately. Now, the problem was, somebody was trying to control their physical body. But because they was aware and conscious in a dream state, they could not do so. So they tried to kill all the people who were divergent, because they couldn't control their physical body, because they had control of the dream world. So now the reason why meditation is important, because it allows you to deal with the subconscious on a conscious level. It allows you to almost simulate the dream state, so that you can deal with your subconscious without all of the mumbo jumbo, without all of the interference. Now, you will, of course, still dwell on things. You will try to meditate, and your mind will go to different things. I know a lot of people tell you to clear your mind when you meditate. Yes, try to clear your mind. But whatever happens after you have a blank black room, whatever starts to happen after that, allow it to happen. Allow yourself to go into whatever happens. That's your subconscious again, projecting something, or your conscious self thinking of something. That's why when you meditate, you start out with nothing, and then your mind will linger. Whatever your mind is lingering towards, stick with it. Don't think it's just something clouding your head or whatever. Stick with it, but you have to consciously stay aware of what's happening. Let it happen. Whatever takes place, let it happen. Let it consciously happen, but stay in control. So once you are in a meditative state and you are meditating on what your subconscious and conscious mind is putting out, you can deal with those things on a conscious level. You can walk, you can fly, you can do whatever it is that you do in the dream world, but in meditation, consciously. So when you have these bad dreams, you should write them down. You should meditate on them. You should meditate on what's bothering you. You should meditate on questions you are trying to answer, and really seriously start to think about them and deal with them on a conscious level inside of meditation. So once you go to sleep and you start dreaming, you start to become conscious of what's taking place because you had to practice in the meditative state. So once that dream comes along about whatever you're scared of, whatever you are afraid of, you will remember from meditation that experience of you dealing with it. You will recall it and you will act accordingly. You will be able to deal with that problem. Now, once you start becoming more and more familiar with the meditative state, once you start meditating more and more, you will start to see changes in the dream. You will start to see it affect the dream world. The dream world will become more clear. It will become in better detail. Things will be much more clearer than ever before. Conversations will be more clear. Things will start to make more sense until eventually you will become conscious in the dream world. Now, what's going to start to happen is once you become conscious in the dream state, you will start to immediately wake up. That will become a problem. As soon as you realize something is not real, as soon as you realize something is not right, you will always wake up. Just like when you are scared awake or when something happens that frightens you, into waking up out of the dream state. Now, I think the problem with that is, because I ran into this issue, is that you need to really start to meditate on worst fears. And I hate to say it like that, but whatever worst fears is, whatever it is that pops you out of your dream, you need to really meditate on those things. You need to really dwell on them. Just sit down, meditate, and really focus on your most absolute fears. What is the scariest things? What really bothers you? I know that's going to be hard for some people, but this is how you get past that, because you need to deal with what's going to pop you out of your dream and what's going to shock you. The reason why you wake up once you become conscious, because you just became conscious that you are in this dream world, and it just blew your mind. So now once you start dealing with these nightmares and dealing with these things that really bother you, dealing with these worst fears and dealing with these things that really control or affect you on a subconscious level, then they won't manifest in the dream world. So you got to deal with these things consciously. Deal with them in a meditative state so they won't come back and bother you later in the dream world. And if they do, then you would know how to deal with them. You can look at certain things and say, you know what, this is not real. I'm not going to let it bother me or affect me, and you can do away with them. So now once we start looking at the subconscious and the consciousness, we can put them into two categories. Now, your subconscious will basically be like the real you, the all-powerful, all-knowing you. And then your consciousness will be more like your self-consciousness or your body consciousness. It's the regular you every day, aware that you're walking down the street, aware that you're eating, aware of what's going on around you. That will be your self-consciousness. So once you start to meditate, once you really start to meditate a lot, you begin to really stimulate the pineal gland, the third eye. So understand, the pineal gland secretes hormones that modulates the state of consciousness. The hormone that stabilizes waking consciousness is serotonin. Now, serotonin is produced by glands in the body, by several different glands in the body. Now, the pineal gland stores a high concentration of serotonin, then converts it into melatonin, the hormone that does what? Stabilizes the dream state. So the secretion of the melatonin hormone is caused by what? The stimulation of the pineal gland. And melatonin will only flow in what? Darkness. So you have to meditate, you have to dream, you have to go to sleep. This is why meditation is important. Now understand, the pineal gland also produces a more complex form of melatonin called metatonin. Now, melatonin puts the self-consciousness to sleep while the body functions. While you sleep, your body breathes, your organs function, you heal, and you rest. But metatonin allows the self-consciousness to stay awake and attached from the physical body while in the dream state. Now, we produce melatonin every night, but metatonin is very rare. In fact, there's a component in your blood that actually attacks it almost immediately. Now, scientists know all about metatonin, but because the blood attacks it and it's located in the middle part or the middle of your brain, it is hard for them to get a sample before the blood attacks it. So as you continue to meditate and as you continue to start dealing with these issues and problems in the meditative state on a conscious level, you will begin to stimulate the pineal gland. You will begin to stimulate the third eye, but you will also begin to awaken other energies within you. So these other energies are what people call chakras. Now, chakras is basically just energies, but we got to really look at the way energy work and understand how we feel energy every single day. You feel energy all the time. We just know it as, emotions or, feelings. But if you ever been in a room with your boyfriend or girlfriend and they are upset, you can feel that energy coming from them. You can feel it. It affects you. It feels bad. It feels some type of way. You don't know what happened. You didn't ask them any questions, but you can feel that they are upset. You can feel that something is wrong. It'll cause you to say, hey, what's going on? Or to leave that person alone. But we can feel that energy. You can feel the energy when you're watching a TV show or you're watching a movie. You can feel the energy that it puts out. It affects your body in some way. A lot of people just shake it off as, well, it's just emotions, or I'm just tripping. It's just something that's normal. But this is energy. Meditation will help you deal with these energies and help you, do away with them if you don't want to feel them. So now let me put it to you this way, make you understand a little bit more. Now, have you ever thought you lost something really important, like rent money, or like something that was really important, or really, something that meant a whole lot to you? You thought that you lost it, it was gone, it was missing, you dropped it somewhere. So you start looking around frantically, all crazy, like, oh my God, where are my keys? Oh my God, where my wallet at? Oh my God, where that necklace at? So you start looking around crazy, but there's a feeling inside of you that starts to develop. A fear of worrying. You start to worry, you start to panic. The feeling is not good. You start to stress out. You really begin to panic and you start looking around frantically. And then when you find it, when you find the money or you find your keys or you find whatever, there's this overwhelming feeling of relief. I found it. Here I go. Okay, let me go do what I got to do.